you, Christian. This was the last presentation. Now we have planned to have an open discussion about the roadmap. The original format was that we were going to have some live presentations of all the ideas we had been having. So, Jos, is that going to be possible?
I don't think. I mean, we changed yesterday. We changed the format a bit because there were a few ideas, so people having those ideas already presented them. You know.
Okay.
The original idea was if there were a lot of ideas, the developers selected the best ones, and those ones were going to be presented. But some of the ideas yesterday were already presented. Today we have a new one. Fernando gave it to me. It's from Stefan. Stefan Hastenauer. Is you? So, do you want to present it? Yeah. Because
we have also seen many ideas.
yes, we have also the IPS suggestion by Christian.
Yeah, and high availability.
High availability,
and
of
stuff like
course.
that, so
And
we should include that in.
of course,
yeah.
of course.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello. My idea was belonging to my experience in firewall systems with smooth wall and maybe IP cop. There was some feature I'm missing in the Zentyal system is named alias. You can use in the systems many real IP addresses and forward them to some internal servers, maybe web servers or SSH servers maybe. And this feature I'm missing in the Zentyal system, and it will be good when it's integrated in the system.
Have you heard it, Jorge? No. The thing is, it's not very clear for me. I mean, because it also says that it costs 2 hours to develop. So it has to be. Or this is a question mark. Okay. So it seems like a 2.
No.
Because I think it has to be something very simple, but I can get it. So. Yes, it was not very clear.
At the moment, when I use a Zentyal system, I can use one real IP address, and I like to use many addresses, maybe an IP block and one.
This is already implemented in Zentyal 3. The problem, on Zentyal, when it's acting as a firewall, you can give it different public IP addresses using the alias IP addresses. So the firewall, the front-end firewall, can have multiple IP addresses. And then using the port forwarding in the firewall, you can forward the incoming connections to the internal server. But the problem was that on Zentyal 2.2, all the outgoing connections, they were source nated into the real IP address of Zentyal. Now on 3.0 we have introduced source NAT rules, and with this, directly from the web interface, you can create a rule that says all the traffic coming from this internal IP address, when it is going out to the internet, give it this public IP address. So basically you need to create 2 different rules. One for all the incoming traffic, say everything that is going to this public IP address forwarded to this internal IP address. And then on the SNAT rules section, you create another rule that says everything that is going, it's coming from this internal IP address translated to this public IP address. This is usually known as NAT 1.1. On Zentyal, you cannot create this on one rule, but you can create it in 2 rules, one for incoming and one for outgoing. So this is working. Like before, you had to use hooks, firewall hooks, to create the custom rules. It was working, could be possible. Now you have everything on the web interface. So this is, it's done. Yeah, so it actually it was probably more than 2 hours. I would say between 1 or 2 days, but it's in place.
Okay.
So have you already tested Zentyal 3?
Yes, I have tested
Okay,
three.
the thing is, there is a new menu. If you go to Firewall, before that, there was packet filter and port forwarding. Now there is a third entry. It's called SNAT.
Yeah.
So this is
cases
where you have to add those rules.
Yeah, okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so anyone else has filled the form with the new idea proposal? No, I'm not talking about you, Christian. I mean, you have already made a lot of proposals. I mean, if anyone else has just filled the form? No? No one? Okay, so we can talk about the other proposals. Christian this morning proposed, well, he proposes something to make the IDS module more complete, like taking some actions when something problematic has been detected. That is basically IPS, I think. It's something that it's of course a very good suggestion. It's something that it was already on the wish list, on the public wish list in the track. Probably the solution there is to integrate Suricata instead of Snort, which is what we are integrating right now. I think Suricata, correct me if I'm wrong, is like a fork of Snort, adding this IPS functionality.
Yeah, basically now we have only an IDS module. IDS stands for Intrusion Detection System, yes. And what it does is to analyze traffic going through the Zentyal server and identifying patterns of what could be a possible attack. On the Zentyal web interface, you can enable different categories for the different attack types, like DDoS, RP spoofing, SQL injections, these kind of things. But right now, this module, which is based on the Snort, the most popular IDEA solution, what it does, it's only raising alerts on these possible attacks. Our plans are to replace Snort with Suricata. Suricata is a community fork of Snort developed by big companies. To give you an example of one of the organizations behind this project is NSA. So there are big guys working on this. This is open source as well, and as I said, it's based on the core of Snort. And Suricata implements not only identifying those attacks, but also blocking these attacks. Our plans are to develop a module of IPS using Suricata for Zentyal 3.2.
The roadmap is not decided yet. I mean,
this might be possible because
I also think it's a good idea. It's a very good candidate for the 3.2 roadmap. But you know, if there are other ideas that may be more priority,
like we have customers interested in this module, and there are great possibilities that this is developed very, very soon. So if you're really and especially interested in having this working, just let us know and we will see what we can do. But definitely, like even though in the community roadmap, this is an idea which is present and might be developed.
I would like to know if any of you has already some experience deploying an IPS system. No? Yes? I mean, do you know, for example, do you know any other alternative to Suricata, Christian? No? Okay. So, thing here is we should see what is more.
This kind of very interesting discussion, we have two different, let's say, tracks. One is new features. We want to improve, to bring something new. This one, IPS, is something new, okay? And there is also another aspect I think we have to really pay attention to, that is to improve what we already have. Yes. And I would like us not to focus on something new, because it's always funny to work on something different, something new. Please go back at what we have today, DNS, web servers, FTP, I mean, all what exists already today that definitely requires some and deserves some improvement. I'm thinking about DNS, split DNS. I want it. I do want split DNS. I don't understand that you do not provide split DNS. It makes DNS totally useless because I don't want to expose my internal server outside. So, and this one is much more critical to me than the IDS to IPS switch. Okay? So what do we discuss? Do we have two tracks? Do we have one bag with everything inside and you will decide what will be the winner?
Well, the thing is, development resources are limited, so we can't do everything.
Basically, how we decide priorities in Zentyal, first of all, the community, the number of people in the community asking for features. If there is a lot of people for asking for a feature. For example, LTSP was a community demand for a very, very long time. They were saying, we need thin clients module, we need thin clients module. And we have developed that. Because people, they were asking for this. And it was not you, it was lots of people in the forum. So we decided to release this. Like,
I'm going to create a lot of fake accounts.
that's cheating. Yeah, try that. Basically, it works this way. Like community demands, our own opinion on what is going to be needed in the future, customer demands. Those three roles or ways, this is how roadmap is decided. Of course, Zentyal is a community project. Community, they have a big opinion on how things go. We also have paying customers. If they are paying us for developing a feature, we will do that as well.
Have you tried, for instance, to draw some magic quadrant, like Ldap, to show and to put in this magic quadrant what is, highly requested by customers and so on, what is easy to implement, which is something different, for instance, and what is neither easy but mandatory because you have something clearly missing. Okay? I think this would be helpful in this debate and to have this visibility. Okay, this stuff, we don't have it, nobody wants it, it takes no time to do it. If we do it in a couple of hours, then let's do it.
Yes.
Okay? And you put it in your magic quadrant.
That's something we have done sometimes. I mean, when we evaluate which features are we including in the roadmap, we usually set different criteria, like the coolness, the difficult to implement, and that's it. And then we evaluate all together and say this and this. But anyway, yes. Well, the thing.
This is true that we have made this internally until now.
Let me explain because this is. Shut up a bit. Let me explain because this is something we are aware that there were some feedback in the community or some complaints that the roadmap wasn't enough clear or more not enough community participating in the roadmap, you know. And we made we promised that for this new version 3.2 we are going to do it better. We are already doing these first steps, like having a discussion here about the roadmap, because if you remember, well, if any assist in the previous summit, we didn't have this in the 2011 summit, the first one. But it's not only what we are discussing here. We also want to do it publicly in the forum. We also want to deploy a new system like an idea torrent, so anyone can propose new features. We will also putting together all the feature requests we have in track, in wiki, unifying them in just a centralized point. and then you, all the community, will be able to vote these features. So it will be very easy to filter them and see which are the most rated ones. You know, I think this are also you can add comments in each feature. There can be a discussion there in the feature. I think that system is, I don't know if you agree, but I think that's going to improve this community participation. Of course, we can also move this discussion to other medias, like the forum. I mean, we can just see, okay, these are the 10 top-rated features in our brainstorming platform. Then we make a post in the forum. What do you think about these 10? Which do you prefer? You know, this kind of.
That's one point. And then what do you think as Zentyal? I mean, what's your feedback? I mean, if polling to me is totally meaningless. Because everybody is requesting for cloud services.
It's a participation.
Cloud services, I don't care. Okay. Thin client, everyone is asking for thin clients. I don't understand most of them what it provides. So in terms of pooling, you will have, let's say, highly scored requests because everyone look at Google and wants something new. But at the end, we are missing in this, let's say, elective mode. We are missing important features that are not discussed. I mean, you are growing, you are targeting, let's say, medium to larger companies. You don't have the nested group feature. How can you, today there is no implicit profiling because there is no Ldap attribute. So everything is based on group management, group membership. And today, if you have a small organization, you have few users, you can manage some groups. If you have a lot of users and a lot of groups, something that will be required is to have the nested group capability. To have one group covering multiple groups, you don't have it. Nobody will ask for it. Because, I mean, they don't care. So if you go for the, let's say, the poll activity, what do you want, guys? You will miss something that could be very interesting. Okay? And you will not cover split DNS. For instance, you will not cover WPID. Yeah, but all this stuff. So that's why I think we need your feedback. Then we can discuss, but then you have to tell us, okay, this will not do for this reason. This it's too much complex. This one is easy, we'll do it, and so on. Otherwise, we can discuss forever.
This new platform can allow to the community to participate, but also with the Debian the Zentyal developers can participate there and regarding the split DNS, there can be an idea in this platform about the split DNS and see how much votes it gets and which is the discussion about it. You know?
That's where I said that it's not only the community deciding that we are implemented, and we have our own opinion what is needed. And if there are some features that they are popular, they are not as popular as they could be, but we think that they are useful for most of the deployment, they will be there in place.
Yeah. So I think the roadmap, we should distinguish between two main blocks. One of them is the new modules, new feature, big things like that take months to develop, like for example IPv6. That is something that if we decide to go that way, that's going to take all the efforts of one or two developers, mainly from the beginning until the release. But there are some other small additions that might take a couple of days to implement that are important, but they are additions to some existing modules. So I think those things, they are the important. I think I have the gut feeling that those are the most important to get feedback from people saying, okay, we have a list of 100 cool additions. Which one is more priority?
Yes.
So which one can help us get to a new case? It's not like, okay, which one is going to make me cooler and get more girls? No. Which one is going to help Zentyal to be used in new cases? Like the examples you gave, I think in your presentations, those are very good examples.
Of course.
So the thing about the big blocks, that's a strategical decision, and I think we have to be the ones deciding whether we got IPv6 or not, for example. But the small things, those are things that we don't have enough information to decide by ourselves, and that's when people with a good knowledge can actually propose it, can actually defend that, and if it goes to the roadmap, then we include it.
Yes.
What do you think? And for each one, we need to agree on priority and effort needed. And the combination of those two should be the one deciding which goes to the roadmap. And then also when we're implementing the roadmap, we start with the highest priority, and then we get where until we can. Those that are with medium priority then have some risk of not being implemented, and those that don't have any priority, then they will not be implemented.
Yes, that is. As you said, there may be a list of 200 very nice features, which all of them will make Zentyal a great product, but let's say we only have time to implement 20 of them. So which are we choosing? So that's where the community can help with their feedback, with their votes in this kind of new platform to decide these 20 features.
Yeah, but I think that the approach is not sending any message to the forum asking for a letter for Santa Claus. So not an open post of what do you want us to implement, but it's like this is a list of things. Vote the 5 most priority of them. And then people vote, and then we get the results, and we say, okay, this is the one that is the most decided. And then people can influence by explaining their position and why they believe this is more important, and then people can change the vote, and things like that. But I think that should be the way. What do you think?
I agree.
Yes. So we could prepare already a list now.
The thing is, we need to deploy that new platform, and then we need we need an additional work to get all the ideas we already have.
I disagree. Let's not wait until we have a platform online. Let's do it now.
Let's do it with the forum, or now.
Now. We have people here. They have
yes,
ideas.
but you know that how big is this list?
The ideas that people can have.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Let's note them down.
Yes, of course.
That'll be the start.
We can do some kind of prioritization about the ideas who have already received here in the yesterday sessions and today. Well, I think some of the most interesting ones are IPS, the idea of Carles, who is not here, about having like an anonymous captive portal, so you don't need an user and password to enter. It's like for airports or any just accept terms and conditions and you are browsing the internet. Another one is this module to make Zentyal a better LAMP server. I mean, for deploying, easily deploying of easy web applications, like it can be Moodle, Sugar CRM, having some management of MySQL and improving the web server module, which is currently a bit basic. Well, of course, high availability is also a big proposal, but I think this is, like Nacho said, more like IPv6. It's a big thing that we need to...
But there were some ideas that seem to be easy to implement.
Yes, the thing with high availability is it's a very big thing. Yeah. So we also need to prioritize which models.
Maybe instead of talking about high availability in general, we can talk about high availability in DNS, for example, service by service, and saying which one has more priority and which one is easier to implement.
Yes.
The topic itself is huge, but just to introduce some, let's say, to open some doors for further debate, you will never cover availability as a block, as a service.
Yes.
It doesn't exist. But if you, for instance, do not discuss availability, look at mail. Mail, you may, for instance, change your mail service and have the capability to have one or multiple MTA to provide availability from internet, to have multiple MX. You receive mails from different, let's say, entry point, and then also to have second part of your mail backbone capability to, because you have split MTA, to have local mail delivery in different places, because you have organization with one site in Barcelona, one site in Madrid. They want to have local mail. Today with Zentyal, this can't work with the same mail domain. We are like to have two different mail domains. It's not availability.
Yes.
Okay, it's mail feature, but because you made it, you will be able then, second step, to have a higher, let's say, reliable mail backbone. So do not look at availability as a main huge block you will never be able to hit. Look at service level. Try to improve what what's complex, do not do it because that's complex, and costly, yes, there is no demand, whatever. Okay, but at least on some parts, even if everything is not highly available, you will progress in terms of service, and you will offer then high availability. Delegation model, I mean, no one is asking for delegation model because today you were targeting SMB, small business, 20, 50 users. You don't need to delegate. I mean, the guy responsible for IT will manage everything. The day you want to target something bigger, you will have administrator responsible for network, firewall, security, and maybe some other responsible for user creation, groups, and so on. Delegation model is something you should bring. So that what I will say is that you have different areas where you could look at. Some are easy, some are not, but I would like to have this list built, discussed, so that at the end you say, okay, we have 100 different features, and let's start discussing about it.
Yes, the thing is each module is a different case, so I think it's not easy to do now, okay, let's pick all the, we have to analyze each of the modules, and as Christian said, see how complex it is to provide high availability here, how cool is it for medium enterprise, for, you know, it's...
Okay.
Yeah, but we have to start.
Yes.
We never start. We discuss the forum.
No, but...
We don't have the same glossary, the same wording, we do not share concepts, so we discuss
Yes.
wording, it's bullshit. Now we are face-to-face discussion, let's start building this list. Even if we do not discuss very detailed, at least we understand what we are discussing about.
Okay, so we need a secretary. Javi, so Benzer left, so you are going to be the secretary. Do you mind?
You want to take notes?
So now he's leaving.
Okay, I think one of the most basic high availability features is the network firewall high availability. I mean, having, if Zentyal is acting as gateway in your network, you can have two Zentyal machines, so if one of them goes down, the other one takes the same IP address. I mean, using Herbit or something like that. This is one of the most typical high availability scenarios. Of course, if you are using Zentyal as a gateway, if you are using it as a communication server, as you say, there is mail is a completely different scenario. So we need to analyze all the different scenarios and see the complexity. Well, another different thing is the replication of the Zentyal configuration, because most of the modules, if you want to provide the same service with two Zentyal servers, the configuration has to be the same, right? No?
I don't want to do this because in your mind, so we start discussing technical stuff, you are thinking about a cluster pod. Okay?
Sorry?
You are thinking about a cluster pod. You want to
Okay, yeah.
duplicate your configuration because if one server fails, I want to switch to the other one with same configuration.
Yes, that's the failover in your... Yes.
It's not failover, it's switching. Meaning one fails, you start the other one with same configuration. So far so good, but this model is, let's say, is too easy, and you can only switch when the first server fails, okay? Which does not provide the right level of availability for some services that are very obvious to provide in a different way. So it might be useful to duplicate configuration for some, let's say, risk you want to cover, but some other risk you may have better service with different approach that is not to duplicate. I want to have multiple web servers accessing NAS because my files are in a NAS, highly available, and these different servers, web servers, may run in parallel. I don't care, it's not an application static web server. I don't want to duplicate this configuration, I want different configurations. Okay? So the statement that is, yeah, it's obvious to want to duplicate one-to-one. I disagree.
No, but it depends on the case. As I said, of course, for web servers, your example is very clear. You want to just balance between different web servers to attend more requests at the same time. That's clear. But for example, for a gateway, that's not possible. I mean,
That's why we have to, let's say, discuss on the per service level. That's why
Yes.
my presentation, look at services. So, firewall, you're right, we have to switch, we cannot have
Yeah, no, I agree completely. We have to analyze all the roles of a Zentyal server and see how which is the best way to implement high availability there. Well, okay, so how you don't have a better keyboard or something like that? You're going to take notes there? Okay. Okay, so how do you propose to do that? Just starting with the roles and prioritizing them with the opinion of all the people here, or no? Do you have any proposal, Nacho?
Well, for example, we could actually come out with a list of 10 features, or with already the I don't know, maybe 10 features that
But
we...
are we talking about features or about high availability? Because we are now talking about high availability.
Okay.
And this is
Because I think that since each effective availability is a different scenario, each one it must count as one different
okay.
we didn't do a kind of availability everywhere. Only
Yes, yes.
one separate one, separate another.
No, the thing is, should we prioritize inside high availability which parts are the most critical, or should we prioritize together high availability with other different features not related with high availability?
Like this, I mean,
That was
per
the
service,
point.
okay. That's what we need, or that's what we want for each and every existing service. And then let's move to something new in another track. Okay, what do you want new? But I mean, list of service you have today, it's even if documentation is made this way, it's very easy to have it.
The service modules.
Modules.
We just...
But we have almost 40 modules.
Service rather than module, because there is no, let's say, yes, there are some, okay, it's matter of wording, it doesn't really matter, but if you take each and every, let's say, service or module and you look at this, you may say build the list for each and every module and say, okay, what do we have here? What is missing? DNS, there is no availability, that's one feature. There is no split DNS. That's one more. Okay, DNS it's quite easy. DHCP, you may want to offer in DHCP more options. It's very easy to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Write it. DHCP module.
I think that sounds logical.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Much better than just thinking about high availability.
I mean, I have my one list already, more than 20 features. But
Let's use it as a base.
Yeah, so we can use that if you have already.
yeah, but I don't want to be the only one discussing this.
Why not?
We can use it as a base and then we got other people's ideas there. There's already there.
I mean, you have a...
Muy fuerte.
if you have a list and you want to like show on the screen, go ahead. Like we would be very happy to see your proposal. Yeah, come on, don't be shy.
You can do this too. Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't mean that we are going to implement everything that you're showing there, but this is a good start. We are going to make a lot of complaints, and then we will end up with something that everybody agrees. There is a lot of discussion on high availability, and high availability is a complicated topic. We need to have the framework in Zentyal Core and Zentyal Common to replicate configuration.
But what Christian was saying is you don't need that for all the modules.
No, and then, first of all, you need the framework, because you need to replicate the configuration, no matter what kind of module you're using. And on top of that, you implement high availability in a different way. Like, for example, if you're having a firewall, high availability would be implemented using contract D. If you're using users module, we have a high availability already in place because we are doing Ldap replication on every slave. So high availability is already working for users and groups. We have high availability on internet connection as well. You can do load balancing and you have one failover. So that's high availability as well. We have high availability on the OpenVPN module because when you are being a VPN client, you can connect to one server and have two failover servers as well. So if the first address for the VPN server is not working, you fail over to the next ones. So high availability does exist on Zentyal in different parts.
Worked before, but
With this laptop, I think I can have both. It works? Okay, works.
but I think it's a different desktop. You know,
Sorry?
it's a different desktop without the document. What we are seeing.
You don't have a clone screen, but you have a new desktop, so probably you have to move the application to this new desktop.
Okay, so yeah. But
Okay, perfect now.
okay, but I can see this.
You can.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, but I need to scroll. So I'm maintaining this list, I mean, for my own purpose, because at the beginning I tried to have a list of annoying bugs from my standpoint, okay? Then I realized that the most annoying was not bugs, but missing, what I call missing features, okay? So I try to organize this per different section, the way I perceive at least these different sections. So there is one that is, maybe I'll move a bit on the right. It's not the best laptop to show this. Huh? Is it better? No? I can't see anything.
No, I think you have to move the button.
Yeah, but I can't do this. Let me move this file on the USB key and use the other PC. Yeah, not sure. Okay, let's do
Blue screen of that.
something like this rather. Is there any password?
It's the same.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah. It's the same password in all our servers.
Can you see it?
We can see it loading.
Is that slow?
Click to exit presentation. Press escape. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so first point is, I mean, Zentyal has a, let's say, layer by itself. That's the delegation model that is missing. I mean, I think you will need this, some customers will need this as long as, I mean, when you will start growing and addressing larger, let's say, organization, delegation model is something you may not, let's say, escape. Then at network level, there is something that is maybe not at the right place, but at home, at least for me, I have two different, one, and the failover doesn't work properly. Maybe it's a bug rather than missing feature, so this one, you can forget about it. DNS, again and again, not having highly available DNS, something, I mean, it's totally mandatory to have at least 2 DNS servers. I don't want to maintain another server manually. I want to make it with Zentyal. But to have this capability to maintain different Zentyal DNS servers synchronizing, split DNS. Split DNS is mandatory, 100%. I will ask you every morning for split DNS. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Christian, how to say that for a split DNS exists a workaround? How we usually deploy this is using the domain provider DNS servers for the public IP addresses. So everybody on the internet, they are able to resolve those domains using the...
No, but that's a workaround.
That's a workaround.
That's a workaround. So
I know, but...
With any missing, quote-unquote, missing feature, you may propose a workaround. For proxy, for instance, HTTP proxy, you have a workaround that is to use transparent proxy. I strongly disagree that feature. Sometimes it fits, but sometimes it doesn't.
I know.
I don't want my DNS being, let's say, your point is, your workaround is wrong somewhere because, except if you add some firewall rules to prevent access to your Zentyal DNS from internet, this DNS service is still available. And because it's available, what you do is that you expose your DNS content. And DNS content is for your internal servers. When you have only one server that is Zentyal box, perfect, you don't care. When you have multiple servers inside, you have to add this, manually add this firewall rule because you have your service provider maintaining your DNS for internet, which I don't care. This is not the risk I want to prevent, to cover. I want to prevent the risk that is to expose my internal DNS content outside. And the technical answer to this is split DNS. So workaround is fine, but I mean, it's only partial, and I'm sorry, do not take it the wrong way, but I disagree.
I mean, I agree with you that this is a needed feature, but yeah.
Okay, let's put it in a list.
Okay.
If you don't do it because that's not the priority, don't do it, I don't care, but at least we'll have your answer.
I agree.
We don't do because we have higher priority and short of in resource, and that's it, and I don't care if I have the answer. But let's address the point.
That's perfect.
DHCP, I don't know you guys, but I do want to be able to add some further DHCP options.
This does exist if you create a /etc/Zentyal/DHCP / the name of the object where you want to apply those DHCP options. You can write DHCP configuration inside of those files. This is a not documented feature. It does exist. I agree, it should be on the web interface.
All of this, I want to make this available from the graphic user interface, not hooks. Okay? Otherwise, I will build my own server. I mean, if I don't have the graphic user interface to manage everything, I don't need Zentyal. I mean, all other modules exist. Squid exists. Postfix exists. So your added value is this layer on top of this, building the consistency, being sure that when you add a DHCP option, you have some control. Okay, there is no mistake, syntax, stuff like this. So hook, I don't want, I mean, it exists, fine. In some cases, you will not develop everything. So hook is wonderful because it may help. But in some cases, if the answer, technical answer is hook each and every time, we can stop to debate now. We have a beer that's much more interesting.
I do agree with you on the point that that we have these hooks, and that it would work for now. And it's a really important feature. And I would say that it deserves a high, maybe not the highest, but it deserves a really high priority on the list. Personally, I would think that I would give more priority to features that are absolutely impossible to fix at this point. But yes, you're right. If it's not in the interface, if it's not manageable by people that are usually managing the Zentyal network, and they have to dig into levels and levels of very deep documentation about the internals of Zentyal, then I don't know.
Well, what we usually try to do with Zentyal is to keep the interface simple and clean for 90% of the users. So if one feature is only being used for 5 or 10% of the people, we can probably get out of the interface, you know. But well,
I do share this goal, and I have no answer but a question. Would you be prone to have something that, let's say, an advanced tab, for
Yes, of
instance,
course.
that is
That
showing
was-
the easy configuration,
Yes.
the Microsoft way, click and play, it goes, and the advanced tab that permits to enable additional services.
That's a possibility for the future, of course, having like 2 versions of the interface, a simple one and a more advanced, complex one, of course.
Okay,
But that,
so
that, of course, requires some time to implement it.
put it in the,
Yes.
in the bag, in the list, and then you
we'll
will
put it.
decide.
Javi is taking notice of everything.
Okay, mail, so DHCP, that's it. I mean, that's very easy. Mail, we have discussed it already a lot. Please do split mail.
Well, about the request of fetch mail, does permit to redirect mails to specific folders. We actually have CFS support, so it can cover that much more, but it's filtering for other mail accounts and not only the fetch mail ones.
Exactly, I agree with Javier. Fetch mail, it's only for fetching mail for external accounts on another server. The place for doing filtering and dropping email in different folders, the place of doing this is sieve filtering. We have sieve filtering when using classical mail stack, using Ldap code. We have Thorough filters if you're using sieve. Basically, you can do everything with this. Everything on the web interface.
Yes,
you have a web interface.
Yeah.
On the webmail, you have a web interface to drop emails in different folders, to discard emails, to replay with holidays message. You can do everything.
Yeah, I agree. Correct. Okay, nevertheless, mail, I mean, top priority from my standpoint is to split MTA, MDA. We have discussed already this a lot, okay? Which means that you will have to add one more attribute in Ldap, that is to describe mail host. For this user, mail host is there on this server. Otherwise, you can't deal with this, okay? So technical implementation. Yes, that's mandatory, trust me.
This is another idea to be discussed with
I'm an
with
Ldap
the
guru, I
community.
understand this very well. We can discuss, but you cannot escape. You have to store mail host for users if you want to be able to deliver mail somewhere else. There is, I mean, you cannot escape. That's life, okay?
Okay.
Something still about mail that is missing and linked to what you described about your your ISP managing your DNS. Today, I'm relying on 2 different ISPs. I have 2 different internet accesses, 2 different DNS and MX from this service provider. But unfortunately, with the default proxy, postfix implementation, your banner is unique. And your banner, being unique, cannot match these 2 different hosts and domains. So I did it myself, okay? I changed the mail configuration, but if you could make this available from the interface, I mean, it's something that is linked with the fact that you are providing at one level the failover capability. Providing this without providing for mail capability to have banners that is matching your different host name is nice to have. Not maybe mandatory, but do it.
I think something like that, like the possibility of changing the banner from, of the mail server from the interface, is a good candidate for this possible new advanced tab in the interface.
Yeah, because I want 2 different banners. I have 2 different interfaces. Okay, IAM nested groups. We have discussed it a bit. implicit profiling. Implicit profiling, which is to have some attributes that could be used elsewhere as for Apache, for instance, for application to say, okay, if this server is working in France, it will access this web page or this web page because it's German.
Yes.
Okay. So
we
implicit
agree
profiling.
completely on that.
Okay. So that's something that
The thing is,
could be interesting.
the thing is, we were waiting to add this to have modelized the user add-ons, because currently they use some old CGI framework, and we were waiting for that to have it like folding, like edit another options of the user, and then unfolds, and we can add some kind of attribute like the phone number or you know, or any other for the users.
Yeah. Well, this we can discuss more detail. So about the VPN, my comment is totally wrong. So forgot about it. Zarafa, I don't want to test it. FTP, I think that's an area where we could have some improvement, because the FTP server today is a very basic one, and I'm very surprised there is no more request for advanced FTP service with access control using groups or whatever. Today I don't know how to implement this aside, let's say, within Zentyal at least. Okay. Web server, I put nothing because for me today the web server service is, don't want to say useless, but I don't understand what's the goal.
Forgive me, for if TP is service, do you request anything concrete, or is only a general comment that you see that they are not enough options?
Sorry, didn't get you. What do you mean?
That what options do you think that are missing in FTP service?
FTP, I mean, my expectation with FTP server is to have, I mean, aside what you provide today, that is FTP with home, let's say, user exposure, you don't have anything that permits, for instance, to say, okay, I will share this folder with this access control using whatever, using groups, using Ldap attributes, using, I mean, today it doesn't exist. Or I don't know how to implement it. I think I played a bit with this. There is no capability today. Okay? So that's my point. That's the general comment. That is to say, let's improve the FTP server.
You talk about FTP with...
I think it's even. I think I suggested this a few years back, and that is to say that when we were starting the talks about alternative support for things other than Samba, I think I already mentioned somewhat the approach of adding the FTP management directly into the file server management. So if you create a share in the Samba management interface, you also add just this information. You're already controlling the ACL, the access control list. You already define groups that have access to it. It's not from a design, an interface design point of view, it's not that much more work to say, okay, and this group also get access via FTP or via SSHFS, like, or what's the Unix equivalent? NFS. And then you don't need an additional complete FTP management tool anymore, because you're managing access to directories and to files.
That's a feature that has been already in the wish list for over 2 years at least, having a unified interface for sharing. So you select what to share and how, and that's it. But it's it's like we haven't had time to implement it yet, but it could be a good candidate for 3.2, of course.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But it means that you have to deploy Samba, for instance, file sharing. I mean, if you want to link file sharing.
No. It's just to have a unified interface in the Zentyal framework, so any module with sharing capabilities can like publish to say, oh, okay, I'm a module and I can share things. So you have you have your common interface that iterates over all your modules with file sharing capabilities, and you use the same interface for everything.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. But whatever the implementation, I mean, the point is to say, okay, let's do something more useful.
That's just an usability improvement. It's not.
Sure.
It's not
But
anything else.
I understand. Okay, certification authority. I would like to see some CSR capability. I mean, to be able from one external server to request certificate to be signed by this certificate authority. You see what I mean?
I think this is part of this feature request from iChat that we were discussing yesterday. We need to have an unified way of defining virtual hosts on our LAMP stack. We need to be able to apply commercial certificates. We need to be able to upload the files to a website using FTP server, and we need to be able to define on the web server on which IP address is going to this website to listen, this kind of thing. So I would say FTP Web Server Certification Authority, and I would add on top of that MySQL management. They are part of the same big feature that would be a better LAMP stack management.
Yes. I tend to agree. I have a different way of looking at this, but at the end, yes, we are in line. Yeah. So, reverse proxy. There is no reverse proxy today. And the workaround that is to, let's say, forward ports doesn't work. That's something else. You may have port forwarding, but it's not reverse proxy. So what I think could be useful is to have a real reverse proxy. Think about this. Okay, in your list. HTTP proxy, we can discuss this forever. I do want WPID. I don't want the transparent proxy only as an answer. You know this already because that's my motto. Okay. But do it, it's very easy. Do it. And you can have it in a very, very easy way, that is to check box, do you want WPID? And you click yes or no. And then you have all the stuff behind, that is to populate the HTTP and DNS plus the proxy.pack file. And you may provide a small window to edit and change this content. That's it, very easy. Okay. So, Ldap, I don't understand why you do not index some attributes, but that's a detail.
Regarding the index in Ldap, we have a document in the track that explains how you can create indexes for the attributes.
But I can install my own Ldap server and I have my own indexes. That's not what I expect from the end user installing Zentyal. Okay, sorry, my wording is a bit too strong, but it would be nice to have some indexes by default. Okay?
Default
Some
indexes does exist. They do exist. If mail is not indexed, it should. And if you are right here and it's not indexed, feel free to fill in about report. We will index it.
Today there is no impact.
Easy. Like we don't need to wait for next version.
This is really easy because we have a framework just which attributes to index for this given module. So if you open a book in the track, we can add any index you request.
I believe this is already working. Otherwise, it's a
then
bug.
Ldap. So we need to discuss about additional attributes. We have discussed it with the IAM stuff already. File sharing, I don't know how to rely on an external Wins server, in case you have it. So, how does it work?
Sorry?
Wins, for file sharing. How can you, let's say, rely on an external Wins server? Does it work, this?
Wins is death, use DNS.
Sorry?
Wins is death. We are using Samba we are using new stuff. Wins is part of the past. Okay. But, I mean, we are not on Windows NT times. DNS is the way to go now. Yeah.
But I think isn't Wins optional on the interface?
I'm
Use
not.
the internal Samba Wins feature or external server?
Sure.
I thought that was on the interface. Yeah,
And my last
I'm
comment
saying.
is NFS.
No, in NFS we don't have it, but I think...
I'm
Wins
sorry,
is-
we should be closing
Okay.
because the closing of the summit is going to be upstairs.
It's time
And
to
I
leave.
think people are starting to wait for us.
Thank you very much, Christian. You have been the most contributor with ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to...
Yes, yes. So the conclusion is that we have now a list of potential improvements. It looks like a good list. We have some opinions on them. We also gather some other proposals. So the task is to prepare a complete list, to add our comments on those that we think that we're not going to do because of several reasons, and those that we do think that can be a good addition. Then we will launch a survey in the community, for example.
Well, ideally, we should have this new platform, this idea torrent or something like that. Oh, but in the meanwhile, if we can't have it ready very soon, we can do it in the forum with a poll or whatever. Yes.
Is this platform going to be available in a couple of weeks?
That depends on me.
Okay, so maybe. So either one way or the other, we're going to move this forward, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody. It was a really good brainstorming.